everybody, this is Kandors Collectibles. I'm Chris.
And I'm Malokai.
This is a new channel. We're going to talk a lot about Omnibus. We have a whole plethora of Omnibus that we're going to read through. We'll start off with some of them that we've already read together, like Super Sons. That'll be one of our first ones that we kind of go through. Wednesday we have a statue that's coming in, so we'll talk about some statue reviews as we get those. We always pick up all the new Omnibus that come out and get delivered. Yeah, so general stuff from there as well. So that's the channel in itself.
We're also going to be discussing such things as what type of characters we like, what type of characters we don't like, stuff like that. Just some general topics involving comics, all the gist of that. And along with sometimes showing off with some of the statues, talking about them here and there, along with doing a bit of some reviews, and just along the lines of stuff like that. It won't be too crazy, won't be too simple.
So if you guys don't know, Malokai and I are father and son. So this is a fun little project that we thought we would get started with, and kind of share with you guys, I guess. So we can start off. So my name's Chris, like we said in the beginning. Malokai, what's your favorite superhero?
Well, if you couldn't tell, it is the Flash, my dear sir.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the idea of super speed growing up, between Sonic all the way to just watching people play Injustice using the Flash. And then when the show came out, although I don't like it now, I loved it at the time, and then that kind of built up my thing for the Flash. Mm-hmm. And then from there on out, I just started loving all his quick wits and just the costume itself and the electricity and just the running fast and his cool stories and all the side stories, his villains, everything about him I've just always enjoyed. Nice. What about you?
Mine's Superman. So if anybody knows me, they know it's Superman. And for me, it's always been I grew up, one of my first issues was the death of Superman, right? So as a kid, I remember buying that at a local store, and really got me hooked. It's always just been kind of like what Superman stands for and everything along those lines. So always been huge for me. Belt buckles, shirts, everything, right? So our first statue is going to be Superman. So keep it a secret. And yeah, so I mean, he's definitely, that's my boy. What's your favorite villain?
Well, obviously Reverse Flash, mainly because of, and it's not just because of the Flash in general. It's mainly because of the fact that when it comes to Reverse Flash, he has a really cool story along with some alternate versions of him. I also kind of like some of the alternate ways that other comics have drawn him. They wouldn't just go with the simple, oh hey, he's just yellow version of the Flash. Sometimes they'll do like a cool like black trim, stuff like that, and just his entirety of the story, with him always trying to be better than Barry Allen, and just the fact that always gets ahead of him, and the fact that he's a living paradox, which is something that we may even actually discuss sometime in the future.
Yeah, we'll talk. That could be a good topic for one.
We'll have a few topics like that, and it's just he's a cool villain altogether, with just his story and costume wise, power wise, and just. He's everything that I like when it comes to villains, other than the Joker. Cool. What about you?
Darkseid. Darkseid's my favorite. As you can tell, we're more DC fans than we are Marvel. I mean, even though my shirt says Marvel. We are more DC fans, though. Yeah, Darkseid's always been my boy for... he's just badass, that's all. And I like... The books involve him. Justice League Darkseid War was absolutely amazing. You read that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of my favorites. What got you into comics?
Well, it was you, my good sir. I remember just when I was younger, me and him would sit down, and I couldn't read at the time, but I still sat there and looked at all the pretty pictures. And sometimes he'd even read some of them to me, but I just remember me and him would watch movies and just read the comics together, and it just kept on progressing as we got older. For a while it kind of stopped, and then recently, in the recent, I want to say 3 years, we've kind of increased the amount that we just started reading comics together. So it's always been kind of me and me and him thing, and I just always enjoyed it from ever since then. And plus, just reading stories and being able to see them too, I've always enjoyed, rather than just only having to imagine it. But in the world that takes you. What about you?
Well, as a kid, I used to have comics all the time. There was, like, the earliest ones I remember was like, there used to be a comic series called Son of Satan. Okay, I remember reading that one, and my mom wouldn't let me read it around my uncle because he wouldn't have agreed with that. So there was a whole bunch of those, and then I kind of got out of it for a while. And then when I got older, me and my buddy Trent, we were just huge into it. And we used to ride our bikes for miles and go to the local comic book store and go buy stuff. And that was in the 90s, right around when Image came out. Okay, so everybody branched off, all the artists branched off. So we were buying all the new Image comics like crazy. So
Really?
yeah, so that was a good time for me. Yeah. And then why do you enjoy them so much?
Well, kind of like with the same way of how I kind of got into it. It's a me and you thing, and it's really brought me and you close. I mean, we've always been close, but one of the things that we've always bonded over was comics. And and plus just all the stories of like, and how they all come together a lot. Like, yeah, I kind of noticed that between books and comics, is that with comics you can have, you can have the Flash all of a sudden come together with Batman and Superman many times and time again. And every time it's always enjoyable seeing them together. And that's one of the things I kind of like with comics, is the fact that growing up, it's just been me and him, and seeing all these cool stories combined together with all the characters interacting, it's always something new for me and new for other people too. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, similar. It was, for me, it was just always, I mean, I'm huge into art, right? And
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, so me and a buddy of mine named Ethan, we used to draw our own, I mean, like most kids do, but we used to create our own superheroes all the time. And then we'd share it with Trent and everything else, and it was a lot of fun. But for me, it's always been the art. The artwork has always been the thing that's kind of kept me in and drawn me to it. I could get past a horrible story if like Jim Lee was drawing it, or Rob Liefeld. Rob Liefeld has his issues, but at the same time,
Big chest.
big chest. And so if the artwork was good, I could always enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so
The story has to be truly horrible in order for you to not be able to enjoy the artwork. Like,
yeah, there's some that, like, for instance, this guy, John Romita Jr. Okay, everybody knows this book. Most of you guys might know this book. So it's Amazing Spider-Man, but it's JMS, John Michael Straczynski, but it's drawn by John Romita Jr. And when it's drawn by, I like his stuff in Spider-Man. Looks really good in Spider-Man. I hate his stuff in Superman. Like, can't stand it. He's some of the newer. He's one of the newer artists on Superman on the current title, and it's just not my thing. So it's a little bit more difficult. So what's your favorite to collect?
well, I like to collect the Flash and Venom along with Deadpool. Those are my three favorites to actually collect, which I'm glad that we have those three except for Deadpool here. Oh wait, yeah. Whoops, yeah, we have Deadpool.
Boom.
We got everything. But I mainly it's just because those are the type of heroes that I kind of love a lot. With like Flash, you already know I like the Flash, and then Deadpool I've just always related to, with the entire quick wits and the merc with a mouth, basically.
Yeah.
And then Venom, I just always thought he was cool ever since I read Absolute Carnage, and which I would very much suggest for anybody who is a fan of Venom or even wants to try get into him.
There's an Absolute Carnage Omnibus coming out in October.
Ooh. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, there you go.
I'll get that one.
But yeah, and since I read it, I just was like, dang, Venom's a lot cooler than I thought. And then plus with that movie that came out, I started also liking Venom from that too. He was pretty cool in it. And then just after a while, I just started collecting him. And then the same story with Deadpool. But ever since I liked the Flash, this dude started grabbing them for me. And then after a while, we just started subscribing.
Yeah.
What about you? Who's your favorite to collect?
Well, Superman, Action Comics, Justice League, obviously. Those are my three faves. But X-Men. X-Men's always been my jam for the Marvel side. I'm a huge mutant guy, and like even in this game I play called Marvel Strike Force, when they add the mutants in, I'm a sucker for them. I'm not so much
of childhood.
Yeah, I'm not so much Avengers. Like whenever Jim Lee started on the X-Men, like most of us in my area, that was good. So Jim Lee and Chris Claremont, actually they're doing reprints of those Omnibus coming up here soon. So I'll be grabbing those. I don't have those ones yet, but
we don't go broke.
They're super expensive right now. But yeah, I mean, X-Men, the new X-Men, Dawn of X, mixed feelings on it. So I was getting all of them because there was X-Men, X-Force, Fallen Angels, New Mutants, and Marauders. I think that's it. And I ended up going all the way through issue 8. I dropped New Mutants. I couldn't get into it. I used to love New Mutants back in the day. I couldn't get into this one.
Wasn't that the one with the island?
That's Krakoa, yeah. That's all of it though, all of those ones. But the New Mutants one was the one I kept showing you the pictures of, where it was the digital pictures where they would just kind of take the pictures. I wasn't into it.
You said I could do better.
Yeah, so the Marauders one, I kind of liked Marauders for a little bit, but it got a little weird out there too. That's the one where they were on the pirate ship. Mm-hmm. Again.
I don't think I read that one.
Yeah, so it was a little weird. X-Force and X-Men was really good. I really liked those two.
Yeah, X-Force was really good.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so those are my favorites. I'll grab stuff every now and then, like if there's little one-shots or whatever we do. We did Flash Forward. We did Deceased. Oh, if you guys haven't read Deceased,
amazing.
Deceased is really good. So I really like that one. It's essentially like the Marvel Zombies, but they did it in the DC universe a little bit better. It just seemed like it was a lot better. So yeah. Next show, next thing we're going to be talking about doing is probably, we might go through Super Sons. We haven't fully decided yet, so because we've both read that one. There's a couple of them that we've kind of gone through and read. We might do Super Sons. Also coming up, I may do something. So this book, like we were chatting about earlier, right? I ended up selling it and sold it in a Facebook group just because I just couldn't pass it up and then kind of help alleviate the cost of the statue. So one thing that I want to do coming up is kind of doing a how to package books, how to package models, okay? Because there's some Warhammer 40K, we're huge Warhammer guys too.
We're nerds.
So kind of doing a how-to on how to package those things and ship them, because there's some stuff you buy off eBay and everything else that it's crazy. The things that they ship them in, they'll ship like 150.
One book in a huge box filled to the brim with wrapping paper.
I got this one, okay, Brightest Day. I just got it in the mail yesterday. It was just thrown in the box with some packing peanuts. I was glad they did packing peanuts, but nothing wrapped around the book, nothing along those lines. And this is the one that's the one that it's going for quite a bit right now, right? And I got a pretty good deal on it, and so I jumped on it. Well, they didn't try at all to package it. So I'd like to do that at some point.
And it's not even just for the general idea of, oh hey, it looks nice. It's also that it helps save you money and makes the person who bought it feel a bit better, because as I said, with that one person who packed only one book into this huge box, he could have saved money if he didn't put it in such a huge box and put as much stuff in there as he did.
Well, more wrapping. So we'll go through that, because like you can get bubble wrap for so cheap on Amazon, and that's what I have. I have a huge roll of bubble wrap, that because I do a lot of selling on eBay with the single issues, right? And so we'll just kind of go through, and anyway, that'll be a future thing. And yeah, that's about it. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really. What about you, Mike? You
want to take us out the outro thing?
Well, thank you. If you are curious about more, we have a Facebook group, and also make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bells if you really truly are interested. And if you want to ask more questions and or leave suggestions, put them in the comments down below. We will get around to reading them. I like reading stuff like that, so even if he doesn't. So anyways, hope you all have a good night and day, and see you in the next one.
So one thing too is we actually have a few different things that'll be things will be upgraded over the next couple videos. So we have a microphone coming.
Yeah.
So if you notice it's a little harder to hear us, there's a microphone. There's a couple of other things that I've kind of just been looking up what other YouTubers are doing. I'm a huge fan of the Jim Mint Collectibles page, Near Mint Condition. I like them as well. So there's quite a few of them that kind of look at, and I like to kind of mimic a little bit because they do such great jobs. So anyway, so thank you, and we'll see you guys next time.